People living with rare diseases face huge challenges. There is the difficulty in getting a diagnosis and then the struggle to seek out an effective treatment if one exists. TMC Pharma Services works with companies to support the development of orphan drugs, which can help transform the lives of people around the world.
Nestled in the heart of the Hampshire countryside, TMC Pharma helps biotech companies to bring orphan drugs to market. Drugs that can help people with conditions such as rare cancers, hereditary or metabolic diseases that only affect a tiny proportion of the population. The company was set up in 2000 by microbiologist Julie Matthews and her husband, a doctor. TMC now works with more than 300 medical research organisations in 70 countries across the globe, supporting them every step of the way in developing and bringing to market orphan drugs.
It's hugely important that rare diseases are taken very seriously, and they are beginning to be now. Often we'll find a new company will reach out to us because one of the company founders has a member of their family suffering from a rare disease and they want to get a treatment for them. So these people are championing a particular orphan disease, and what TMC Pharma does is to help them through the process of developing that drug, doing all the tests that we need to show the authorities that it's safe and it works in the disease, and getting it on the market so that that loved one can be treated in the future.
Professor Mark Loudall has been treating patients with rare diseases for more than 30 years. The challenge for him and his team is designing the right trials for orphan drugs as opposed to drugs for much more prevalent diseases.
Finding those patients, finding the centres of excellence, but more importantly designing the trial that gets you from never having treated a patient through to a drug that you can deliver as a commercial drug to treat these patients requires the expertise that companies like TMC have, where they can identify the centres, they can help you design the trial to work with very small numbers of patients, and that's not what conventional trial design normally does.
Professor Daniel Gale treats patients with rare forms of kidney disease.
We're working with TMC Pharma to deliver a clinical trial of a condition called Alport syndrome at the Royal Free Hospital. Alport syndrome is a devastating kidney disease that causes kidney failure typically early in life. At the moment, there's no treatment that can stop kidney failure developing, so it's very exciting to think that perhaps in the future we will be able to help these patients.
In Europe, a disease is classed as an orphan when it affects fewer than 5 in 10,000 people. It's estimated that there are between 5,000 and 8,000 orphan diseases worldwide. 40% of the medicines approved by the European authorities in 2021 were to treat orphan diseases. TMC has a network of more than 1,000 specialist associates around the world, all striving to help biotech companies to develop their drugs and ensure they're supported every step of the way, all with an end goal of improving prospects for those suffering with an orphan disease.
Sometimes a drug for a rare disease will help but not completely cure the disease. Other times it will transform their lives. We worked with one product where small children were born with a defect in their metabolism which made their liver very dysfunctional. They had to have liver transplants maybe at age 10 and lived a very short life. And one of the drugs I worked with was for that disease, and children can now take 1 tablet a day and have a relatively normal life, which is amazing.
Research like this offers the possibility of new treatments to prevent serious diseases from devastating lives.
Oh, it's game-changing because you couldn't do the trials without that expertise. I couldn't, off my own bat, design a clinical trial to work with a small number of patients. These rare diseases require expertise which is very, very precise, very, very unique. And without it, you just wouldn't get the trial done.
The heartbreaking thing for patients with rare diseases is that they feel that they're neglected. The term orphan suggests neglect. It's our job to turn that around and make those neglected groups feel looked after, and that we're there to try and find treatments to make their lives better.